For this video, I want to talk a bit more seriously about being in China. Specifically, I want to talk about dealing with culture shock and everything that comes with it. So the first thing that happens with culture shock is you basically are in a honeymoon phase where you love everything. This wore off pretty quickly for me, particularly because I realized that I kind of knew enough about China to get through this kind of quickly, to know that it's not as spectacular as you might first imagine. When you first arrive, everything's cheap and tastes good and is really nice and everything, but that's not... you shouldn't view it as it's like this magical, amazing place that you've just come to. You should always view it as what it is. A magical, amazing place you've just come to. I'm kidding, of course. China's not this super magical place where dreams come true and food is cheap and everything's fantastic. I mean, in a way, yes it is. But you should view it that if that's how you personally really feel, not as if you're on holiday here. Something about, like, me being thrown straight into work and doing work-related things kind of made me not see this as, you know, a holiday, more as I'm here, now I have to work, I have to adjust my sleeping schedule so I'm able to work, and everything like that. Which made me get over the honeymoon phase very quickly. I sort of realized, like, this is how China is. And I learned very quickly to not compare prices. I still do sometimes, but only to show off how cheap China really is. And then the other stages that come on later are just general things, like you get a bit... like you start to adapt to the culture. You start to adapt to how people are, and you sort of fit in and you blend in with it. I feel like I've started to blend in pretty well. I mean, I have my own place. I have a house. I'm currently living alone. It's a weird situation. I can talk about that later if we want, but not right now. So I'm currently, like, living alone due to odd circumstances, and then I actually do have a bike, as you can tell from these videos, which is very Chinese in itself. I'm starting to speak a bit more Chinese, and I've gotten into the lazier side where I can get everything ordered to my house. But I don't know. It's sort of awkward. Anyway, so I feel like I'm adapting pretty well. And when you're doing that, there's something you sort of realize, and it's a lot of things that the Chinese do, or like any culture really will do, and it might be fine to begin with, but it does get a bit annoying, and you get into an angered state. And between these two, you can feel really lost and confused and depressed and homesick. And I just want to talk about, like, how to get through all of that and how to get over it. For me, it's slightly easier because I've always been emotionally strong and able to mentally get out of my emotions. I've always been able to, like, outthink and use my willpower to, like, stop feeling certain feelings, which is not the best way to be, or maybe it is, who knows. Anyway, what I want to say is that you will feel lost and you will be homesick if you do live in another place, and the only thing you can do is talk to other people who are feeling the same way as you, or even just call home, or, you know, have a Skype conversation or something. Just, like, have a video call with someone from home, and then that should help you get through it. You know, even if you still feel kind of bad about everything, you can always, like, have a weekly sort of conversation with them and call and whatnot. As for feeling lost, you can talk to other people who are around you, because the chances are, if you've come to a different culture or a different country, with other people, that they will be feeling the same way as you are at that time. Unfortunately for me, I don't really like to talk about many of my problems, so I just kind of bared for it myself. But the good thing was that I'm actually doing teaching. So when I was feeling lost, like I didn't actually know if this was the right thing for me to do or the right place for me to be. And I didn't want to tell, like, my girlfriend, because that's sort of... It makes them kind of it would make them really uncomfortable to be like, hey, I love you, kind of, but, like, I don't know if I really love you, or if I'm just, like, in a honeymoon phase, or, like, I don't know if I want to be here or not, you know? It's very uncomfortable. But because it's teaching, and because it was, like, it's mostly kids that I teach, if they can be really, really happy in the class and show me that they are excited to be here and they are happy and they are learning, that's all they really need, and that makes me feel so much better, and it fills me with joy. And that's how I got over, like, everything to do with that, because, well, feeling lost at least, because when I can teach a lesson and have fun and the kids are having fun and they're really enjoying it, then everything's fine. And I realize that this is probably where I'm meant to be, at least this point in my life. As for anger and anything beyond that, it's just like relaxing yourself and realizing it's just how the culture is. The most annoying thing that I find with the Chinese culture is that they will stare at me all the time just because I'm white, just because I'm a foreigner. And it's sort of annoying, but it's just how they are. And it's like, you start to get used to it, you find it a little annoying, and then you get used to it again, and then you just accept it, and that's it. But culture shock is a thing that you can go through alone. It's difficult to really, like, tackle it on your own. So I do recommend, if you are going to literally any other country for any reason to live there, you know, just hope that you have someone to be there with and just talk to. Because talking with someone who's been through this, or someone who's been through this or is going through this, is really, really helpful, and you should always do it. So that's basically my piece on culture shock. This giant mall is actually where I work. Oh man. So this is the end of the 4-parter, my trip to work, and then we're gonna have 4 more. We're gonna have another 4-parter video about my trip home, where I have some things to talk about, but we'll get more into that later. So thank you so much for watching the first 4 vlogs of my channel now. There are at least 4 more to go before I run out of before I have to, like, go out and make specific vlogs in places. So yeah, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, all of that. I'll see you soon.